Anandita, can you introduce yourself, Anandita, maybe? Anandita? Anandita? Hello?
Yes, yes, Dr. Hubert. Hi. So, hi everyone. So, I am Anandita and I'm from India. So, as far as my professional experiences are concerned, I have been associated with Mazars since last 4 years, and I work in Mazars as a project manager there. And I actually joined Mazars as a consultant. After that, on September 2020, I was promoted to the role of project manager. Apart from that, I have always wanted to be in the finance sector. So in Mazars, it was all about project finance. I'm looking forward to get into strategic and corporate finance. So now I'm more excited to be a part of the IESE community. So yes, I'll be joining IESE this year.
Okay. And because you also got accepted to INSEAD, so that's what I want to explain to students, is that it may be that you're accepted to INSEAD, LBS, IESE, and you pick up IESE. And what are you doing now? So from what I understand, you're still in India. You have not moved
Yes,
to
yes.
to Spain yet? Why?
No,
Too hot for you? Even
I'm
hotter in
actually trying to
India.
spend some time with my family
Okay.
before moving to the school. So yeah, so it's I'll be here for a month more, and then I'll move to Spain. The session will start. The session will start on September 1st. So
September 1st,
that's
okay?
why.
So you will
Yeah.
arrive like 10 days before the start of the school, okay? And
Yes.
have you found a place already, or you have not found a place? Have you found a place?
Sorry.
Have you found a place already? Have you found a flat?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually in. I mean, we are in process of it. I'm searching up a good place to stay, but not yet. The place has not yet been finalized.
Okay, so tell me, Kevin. So Kevin is based in Madrid. Okay, his office is in front of IE, but he knows IESE very well because IESE also has a campus in Madrid. They have a campus in Madrid where they have the EMBA, Executive Education, and the Master in Management as well. So tell me, Kevin, what piece of advice would you give to Anandita? She's coming from India. Yourself, you're a foreigner because you come from Canada. So what is this like when you're a non-European person to arrive in Spain? What is this like? What is the shock? What can she expect arriving there, Kevin?
All right. Well, Canada and India are very different countries. I would say be prepared for the heat, but I'm sure she's probably used to it. Where in India are you from?
I'm from Kolkata.
Kolkata.
Yeah,
It's pretty hot, yeah.
So be prepared for the cold weather then.
Yeah, right.
Today it's only 35 degrees.
Okay. But I heard like in Barcelona, it has this pleasant weather, so it's not very cold, not very hot, so it's kind of a moderate temperature.
Right. Yeah. No, you're going to be in Madrid or in Barcelona?
Barcelona, because
I'll be
MBA.
in Barcelona.
She's doing MBA. She's doing
the
MBA.
Fantastic experience.
Yeah, and the campus is beautiful. Yeah. By the way, if you go on the YouTube channel, I did an interview of Paula Amorin I did an interview last November. Okay. By the way, there's something that you have to also to know, that if you want to stay in Spain, you have to speak Spanish. Spain is not like Germany or the Netherlands or Finland. Here, if you want to have a top position, you have to speak Spanish. Did you speak Spanish, you, Kevin, when you arrive in Spain, or
Very little. I had studied on my own with a book for a couple of months before coming, but it was grossly inadequate.
Okay, it was inadequate. So tell me, Ayush, can you also tell me about your background?
Sure, Dr. Hubert. Hi, everyone. So for the last 3 years, I've been working with a non-for-profit technology for social impact firm. It's called eGovernance Foundation, and it's funded by Gates Foundation. And along with the central government of India, we are trying to digitize the local governments so that the services that they provide and their interactions with citizens can all be digitized. I have a total work experience of 4 years. Prior to this, I've done a BTech in computer science. I also have an MBA from IIT Roorkee. And probably now, in the future, I really want to work towards the UN sustainable goals, especially around water and sanitation. And I have aspirations to become an entrepreneur. But to start with, probably I'll go ahead, get a strong network in IISc, do those courses and case studies, and try and get to work for a global consulting firm, especially in social impact and development sector.
Okay, so that's what you want to do. Now, basically, you have to see is that you have a different paths in that even though Anandita got a GMAT 700 and you got a GMAT 730, okay, you have been on a wait list for 2-3 months, from what I remember. So, how did you manage the wait list, Ayush?
Yeah. So, firstly, I really want to thank you for the guidance that I received. But on top of that, I've usually seen that as soon as students get a wait list, they just put a stop to their process. While that's not true, right? It's very important that students continue working. That's what I did. I continue speaking to the admission committees. I just went ahead and asked them to give me a feedback on the interview that I had done. While they could not tell me directly, I was able to get some pointers out in the weak areas and then I wrote a letter to them saying that, okay, this is what I've been doing for the last 2-3 months to overcome those areas, right? And then they finally sent me a Kira link. I did another Kira interview for them and I was able to change this waitlist to admit in round 3. So round 2 is when I got a waitlist, and by round 3 results I got an admit. So communication is the key. That's what I would say.
I agree with you. So you see, Kevin, you know what we have experience. I don't want to give names, but we had students accepted to IESE with 550. You know which one I mean, okay? And with a 730, and he has a very good profile, okay? And he got waitlisted. Okay, you see how selective, how competitive it is for Indians. Okay, so tell me, Anandita, you have been accepted to INSEAD and IESE. Usually people take your ranking. They also say that INSEAD is a 1-year program versus IESE that is an 18-month program. So why have you finally picked up IESE?
So see, the first thing behind picking up IESE is like just a moment. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry for that. Yeah. The first thing behind picking up IESE is its course structure. And see, I also have an MBA from IIT, and the MBA that I had was mostly lecture based. But IESE is the only school that I have applied to where the course structure, the case method is being followed throughout the courses. So that's one thing. That's a number one thing behind choosing IESE. I wanted to have a different experience than my previous experiences. So that's one thing. Secondly, I think that this is the last time I'm going to study. So I want to explore more. I think I take this as an opportunity to explore more. So in 19 months, I could explore more than I could have explored in INSEAD for 9 months. So again, these are, and thirdly, and I think that actually, attracted me the most is the alumni, the current student, the admission officers. They all speak in the same language. And I have heard from each and every one of them that IESE is a very pro-student school. So it means that, they will guide you throughout this entire 19 months. It's not like go get your stuff done type of thing, but it's a very pro-student school. It will adjust according to the student's need. So this is again another reason for me behind choosing IESE over, INSEAD or any other school.
Okay, and also they give you a scholarship, huh?
Yes,
you agree?
We have also, yes, exactly.
So the other thing that I have for you is that Ayush, what do you expect from this 1 year and a half in Spain?
Probably first thing is that this is the first time I'll be moving out of India. So definitely meeting new people from various backgrounds and having those conversations to understand how the global landscape of business is firsthand. So that's the most important thing that I want to go there and hear from people and learn. So I would say networking and understanding various places will be one. Secondly, the case study method and the various teachings that IESE has to give, definitely. I mean, that's the reason we are going there to do an MBA. And thirdly, I would say a good job in a great consulting firm, so that, that's a good step towards the future journey that I want to have.
Okay. And so there's something that I think Anandita told us that is very true, is that you also have to, how can I say, you also have to understand that a 2-year program is a great advantage for all of us because it will allow you to have time to get to know the country. Okay, so basically through the 2-year program, you can have like a summer internship. From the summer internship, you can get a job. Okay, it's true that INSEAD, for instance, as a 9-month program starting in September, would have been a bit short for you, Anandita. Huh? Okay. So now tell me, so Anandita, you have been accepted to both INSEAD and IESE. Okay. So what was the admission process like, and what was the most difficult part of the admission process?
I think the most difficult part for the admission process was obviously writing those essays, getting those essays done. The interview part was very, I mean, I found it very conversational and it was very easygoing. So that's not an issue. That was not an issue. But writing the essays and this was the first time I was actually applying to these schools, and I had no idea like what are treated as good, what are not looked upon as good material or good experience. So that was a little tricky, and INSEAD being the first school that I applied to among all the other schools, so I think writing those essays were a bit tricky. And over there I took a lot of help from you and the team, Dr. Hubert.
Yeah, because we prepared the interview together. And okay, and tell me, so tell me, according to you, what did they take you? Okay, provided that your GMAT score for an Indian applicant was pretty weak. So what makes you stand out compared to the other Indian applicants, Anandita?
I think what meant, why they selected me would be because of my work experience. So fortunately, I have been associated with an organization where I had explored a lot of, job scope. So as I mentioned previously, that I started as a consultant where I was only into technical stuff. Gradually, I moved into, client management and project management and everything. So within these 4 years, I had explored a lot of job scope. So that's, I think that's one reason behind, selecting me. So my work experience itself stood out. And apart from that, I think that's why they selected me. And again, I think I could express my goals very well. What are my goals and how my previous experiences will help me, will leverage in, accomplishing those goals that I have set for myself.
Okay. Tell me, if there are students here, so maybe they can ask questions. Okay. Valentin Radevich. Valentin, you have a question for Anandita. Do you plan to also apply to IESE, Valentin?
Yeah, I'm planning to apply to different schools, not necessarily Spanish, but maybe I have a general question to Anandita, Ayush. First of all, congratulations on all your acceptances, and great journey is just in front of you. How much time did it take you to prepare for all this admission process, letters, and so on and so forth? And how much time did you start in advance?
I would say that it took me for as I mentioned, that the first application that went out was for INSEAD, and it took me almost about a month while working with the team, while working with MBA Center team, to get the SS sorted out. And before that, the GMAT part was there, but after the GMAT, it took me almost a month to get this finalized. And then after that, your essays tend to be a little, you would know that what you would expect from this essays and everything. So that those will become easy, but the first one is always difficult. So yeah, I would say 1-2 months.
Yeah. Tell me, Kevin, how much time do you advise for your students to prepare? How much time do you advise for people to prepare? 1 month, 2 months, 1 month?
Well, it depends whether it's a full-time endeavor or whether they're combining this with a full-time job. I would say that if your English is good and you like math, and when you were in school, it's possible to get a good GMAT in 6 weeks. But if you're juggling this with a full-time job, it's probably 3 months.
Okay, so so don't do it at the last minute, and it can take some time, even more time. So, for instance, your class, Kevin, last It lasts what? 1 month, your class? How long does it last, your class?
It's five weekends.
5 weekends.
Saturday and Sunday from 10 o'clock to 2.
So it's a big month. It's a big month, but after that, people usually they take extra time to prepare for the GMAT. They don't take the test immediately right after. Huh? Only Mathilde is going to take the test next week. Your student Mathilde, she will take it right after. Which is so basically that's the question. Roma, so Roma, I know you well because you're a student of Kevin and you're also preparing the application with us. You have a question for Ayush, maybe Roma? Roma? Is he with us, Roma? Maybe no. Sorel, you have a question for Ayush? Sorel, she's our student. She's from Africa. You see, Kevin. Sorel, you have a question for us? Sorel? No? So basically, Emraj, you have a question for us? Emraj, you're a student from India. Emraj?
Yes, so hi, Dr. Bird. Hello.
So you have a question for us, Emraj?
Yeah. So, first of all, congratulations, Anandita and Ayush, both of you. Yeah. So I have a question that, like, for applying to B school, we all have a question in mind that we are looking for, like, I'm from a tech background and I'm looking for a career transition. Like, that's what we'll write in our application. So how was the process, like, in the application process? How was it that how did you convince B school? And like, I can write that I'm looking for a career transition, but they look for the all-rounded answer. So how do you tackle all those questions?
Ayush, you want to answer?
Yeah. Yes, Dr. Hoban. Hey, Himraj. Hi. So, see, a nice question, and I would say that you really have to do research on two fronts. One, that why are you choosing that career? You have to be very clear with it. You cannot just simply go in the application and write that this is what I want to do. You will have to give a story behind it, that why do you want to do this? And at the same time, link it with the experience that you already have, so that that experience also counts, right? If you have spent some 3-4 years in an area, you should be able to link it, that how that experience is going to help you towards the future goal, even if that means a career transition from, let's say, supply chain to more of strategy roles. I'm just giving an example, right? So you'll have to work on both of them, which means that it's a good, I would say, a good 3-week, 4-week process, wherein for the first 2 weeks you try and understand what is the career that you want to do, what actually do the people do. Go and speak with people who are already there on LinkedIn and they're doing that job. Try and understand that, and then in the next 2 weeks, map it with the strengths that you have in the work that you have done over the years.
Okay, so that's something that is important, and of course, you see, for a business school, it's important that you have they like people who want to make a career switch. Huh? The more the MBA can bring you, the better for them. Okay, and at the same time, employers, recruiters love people who have a technical background and a business background. Huh? It's a good thing. Alors, there's also another issue. So tell me, Kevin, do you think that it's better to have a business degree to do an MBA or an engineering degree? Do you think that schools have preferences?
I don't think they have a preference. I think all business schools are looking for a good mix.
Yeah, exactly. Huh? And so it can be someone like Ayush or Anandita, already have an MBA, by the way, or someone who comes from a purely technical background. Okay, you have to see that, by the way, a lot of the things that you do in an MBA, it's a very quant and analytical degree. There will be a lot of quantitative, a lot of analytical issues to solve. And they love people who have a technical background. So Emraj, it's not a minus. Huh? Basically, it's another issue that I want to see with you is that, you know, in India, a lot of the students have a PGD program from ISB, okay, many of them. And so it means that they already have an MBA, because in India, the MIM does not exist, whereas your MBA, your PGD is an MBA, is an MIM. So tell me, Ayush, what do you advise to do to students who already have a PGD, which is translated as an MBA, and when they want to apply for another MBA, how do you look when you don't want to look like a professional student? What do you advise to do, Ayush?
See, yes, Dr. Hoban. So I would say see, like you rightly said, MIM is not the case in India. And a lot of students like us, directly after their bachelor's, they jump on to do a master's, and especially master's in business, which is either an MBA or the post-diploma certificates they get from ISB, right? So they can always justifying if you've done this early, justifying this is a little easier because you can always say that you wanted to make a transition into business, and that's the reason you took this degree, and then justify it on the front saying this is an MIM, but I want to do an international degree with more diversity and more global understanding. But if you've done this in, let's say, after 4 or 5 years, then it becomes a little tricky, and you'll really have to work hard on the essays to convince them why this MBA is important. For me and Ananda, both of us, it was we were also a little scared on this front. Took us a lot of effort, and you and the team really helped us to bring out our story well as to why we want to do this. So yeah.
So basically, what we explain, you can write an optional essay in all the MBA applications. So what we explain that the PGD of ISB is not an MBA, it's an MIM. Okay, that's what we explain well. And of course, we have students at MBA Center who have done both. And plus, in the case of Ayush and Anandita, they can also explain very well that they want a degree that has more global exposure. Okay, and because unfortunately, ISB does not offer the same. Okay, that's something we'll come up to with the post MBA career goals. Okay, Sorel. So Sorel Janku is our student. She's from Cameroon. So Sorel, and she's an engineer, by the way. So Sorel, you have a question for us, Sorel?
Yeah,
Hello?
sorry. Yes, hello.
Yeah.
I had to exit the call just now because I could not hear well. I had a question. My question was regarding, from what I heard, you guys had a great GMAT score. I think it was 700 and 730. Do you know like the minimum requirement for GMAT score? I mean, someone with a GMAT score of like, let's say 650 can have chance to enter those schools.
Kevin, you're the expert in the GMAT. So did you have historically student with a 650 getting IESE?
With 650, certainly, depending on their profile, how compelling their application is. So I think if your GMAT score is not impressive, the onus is on you to make sure that your application stands out. And that's why working with an expert can make a big difference.
Yeah, exactly. Sorel, you have another question. So basically, historically, remember, Kevin, from Spain, we had students who had less than 650, and we still got in. But also, we had students who got the 700 and who got in as well. So basically, I would say that for European students, I would say students from EMEA, the range is between 600 and 700. Of course, the higher, the better. But don't forget that also, being a woman from Cameroon, you contribute to the diversity, because there are not many Cameroonese at IESE. So it's a big plus as well. You can probably also get a scholarship from that.
Scholarship with 650.
Yeah, I think that you will get some help. Okay. By the way, in terms of scholarship, Anandita, how much have you received? Anandita, how much scholarship have you received?
Yeah, I have received 20,000 euros.
20,000 euros, and out of what? Out of how much?
93,500 euros is the tuition fee, and 20,000 euros is the scholarship that I received.
But you Ayush, since you were on a wait list, have you received a scholarship or not?
No, doctor, but actually I did not apply for the scholarship at all because I already knew that I'm in a competitive pool, and probably I had to choose between doing an MBA from a reputed organization or doing it with a scholarship. So I had to choose. I chose the latter.
You choose, yeah. By the way, that's something that's a misunderstanding, but the problem is that's why I advise you to apply early. Okay, you should have, for instance, been accepted even after the wait list, and then apply for a scholarship. The problem is that when you receive your offer, it was in June, and it was too late. Okay, probably. Now, So what I want to tell you is that don't believe that because you ask for a scholarship, the school will look at your application negatively. Not at all. Okay, they understand that this program is expensive, but it's true that in the case of Ayush, we're already asking him to join, even though he was waitlisted with a strong profile, but he was on a wait list. So of course, we thought that maybe he would still decrease his chance of success. That's why we have not done it. That's why, for instance, in your case, Sorel, you have to apply as soon as possible. that way you'll have time. Okay. So basically, how will you finance these studies, Ayush and Anandita? Family loan, family contribution, personal expense, personal things. Do you have a support from your company? How does it work?
So I'll go first. I had been planning for this MBA for almost 3 years now. So I was able to save something and I'll put in 30% from my pocket. That's a tuition fee plus living fees, 30% of that. For the rest, I've applied for a loan through Prodigy. So
Okay.
Prodigy and Lendwise are two options which are really very smooth for students. Right. So
And did you get a loan from Prodigy? Did you get something?
Yeah,
Did you get some
yeah.
type of support? Okay. But basically, maybe you can explain how Prodigy works. Okay. Kevin, you know about this loan, Prodigy Finance. Have you heard about this? Kevin? Hello? Kevin is with us. You know about this loan, Kevin's? I don't know. Yeah, he's not with us. He cannot talk.
Hello?
Yeah. Do you know about these loans, about Prodigy Finance? Do you know how about this? Yeah. You know how it works?
No, I don't know how it works.
So basically, we're going to tell you how it works because it's not a bank, it's very something specific. And you see, Kevin, maybe when you have people who come to see you, it's always good to say, look, there's a way to get 100% of your education financed. So Ayush, how does it work, Prodigy Finance? Can you explain to us how it works?
Sure, I'll do that. So most of the financial institutes, all these banks, they would require a bank guarantee when you go and ask for a loan, right? But that's not the case with Prodigy and Lendwise. Prodigy is from US, Lendwise is from UK. What they do is they will ask you for certain documents such as your credit score and the savings that you or your family have in liquid condition. They don't want you to guarantee them, just show them that you have some amount of savings already available, and then tell them the college that you got admitted into. So they'll seek an admission letter and all the documents from the university. And if your school is there in the top 15, 20, they'll be very happy to fund you, give you good rates. The rates are also, I wouldn't say they're very great, but they're not very bad as compared to the personal loans that other banks or the educational loans they give, right? And then the best thing is that there's no bank guarantee, so you do not feel very burdened. I mean, definitely there's a huge amount you're taking, you'll have to return it back, but along with guarantee, that thing gets stuck there. So that's the beautiful part of a loan from Lendwise or Prodigy.
Okay, now basically, the thing that you have to know is that when you use Prodigy Finance, you're sponsored. Basically, you're going to be put in contact with someone who is going to pay for you and to whom you owe the money. I don't know if you met your sponsor or not, but in reality, Prodigy Finance is not like, you know how banks work. Anyway, banks have deposits and they transform their deposits into loans. Okay, so they with the guarantee of the state, that if something happens, the state will guarantee all that. So basically, the Prodigy Finance is not a bank. Basically, it's a lender in that they promise a certain rate to a lender who is going to lend you money. Okay, it's an individual who is behind each loan. Okay, okay. So have you met the person who is sponsoring you, Ayush, or not? Met the person?
No, not yet. So the match has been done, but once we go to Barcelona, that's where they'll inform us, and that's where the contract will be signed.
Okay, so basically, what is interesting is so the plus is that you get support. Okay, the minus is that the rates are very high. Okay, so it's about 8%. So it's quite high basically because there's an insurance, and the insurance costs 4%. So basically, you get 4% interest rate, which is not super good, and the insurance that covers the default, the credit default swap, if you want, the CDS. It costs 4%. Okay. So basically, questions now. So Valentin, Sorel, Samrat was with me in class this morning, and was also applying for an MBA. So Samrat is a bright guy. So Samrat, you have a question for us, Samrat? Samrat?
No, sir, I don't have any question.
But will you apply to IESE, Samrat, yourself? Will you also apply to IESE?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I have planned to apply to IESE. Yes.
So it's good that you're in contact with Ayush and Anandita. Okay, if you have any questions, they will ask you. By the way, I will go to IESE probably in November, and I will be happy to interview you, Ayush and Anandita, so that you tell me how things are going there. Okay. So
I'll contact them.
Romain, you want to talk, Romain? You have a question for us, Romain? Romain?
No,
Yeah.
I don't have a question. I just want to congratulate them for the
Yeah.
acceptance, and I'm in Spain, so if you need anything,
Yeah.
just tell me, and I will make the best to help you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
If you have any questions, yeah, you can ask. And you know, I go to Spain once a month to work with Kevin. And if you have any question, but I will put you in contact with many Indian students that we have at IE. Okay, we have Anushka, Vinayak, etc. If you need, maybe if you can put them in contact with Anushka and Vinayak, it would be nice so that they talk to them. Okay. Alors basically, so what do you expect from IESE in terms of career prospects? How can IESE help you finding your dream job, Anandita?
Yeah, for me, see, I already have, as I mentioned, I already have experience in project finance. So IESE has, a very, I mean, placements in terms of corporate finance, and they have very strong placements, and they have a good network, as in terms of alumni as well. I have spoken with a lot of current students and alumni, and there are people who have, landed into jobs that I wanted to land to. So I think this is how, first of all, the course structure, and then the network. With this network, I think IESE will help me a lot in, landing on a job that I dream to.
Okay. And Sorel, so you have a question for us, Sorel? Sorel, what is the question that you have? Yeah, Sorel, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to know, did any of you already speak Spanish, or is it that you're going to learn when you arrive there? And the second one, if you maybe can help us drop your link, contact, or email address so that we could write you to them.
So see, I understand that's the first question. So do you speak Spanish? And what was the second question?
No, it was most of requesting the link, address, or contact so we can contact them later on.
Yeah, of course you can contact them. They're MBA Center students, okay? And the MBA Center alumni. So I will probably ask them, by the way, to write a blog, so you can also read their blog. So basically, do you speak Spanish? Ayush, do you speak Spanish? Are you learning Spanish?
No, not yet, but yeah, we'll be. So we have picked. We both don't speak Spanish, but we have picked up a course. We'll start doing that. Like Kevin said in the very beginning, this is one tricky thing that you have to manage, because we'll also have to go and learn concepts and the language. Let's see how best we can do.
Okay, and you, Anandita, no Spanish?
No, I don't know Spanish. But yeah, I mean, as Ayush said, that we both have enrolled to the same course, so we will probably start learning Spanish in like next few days.
So what it is like, Kevin? By the way, I don't speak Spanish at all, and I can make it in Spain. So what it is like, Kevin, when I come for 2 days to meet your students, so I don't need to speak Spanish. What it is like to live in Spain when you don't speak Spanish? Because you have experienced that, Kevin, when you arrive from Canada. What it is like? Is it easy, difficult? How do you pay for your phone bill, etc.? Go to the tax office. If you can unmute yourself, Kevin. Kevin, can you unmute yourself? Kevin, can you unmute? Yeah, great.
I think it's become much easier in the past few years. Perhaps 20 years ago, life was all but impossible. But now, wherever you go, some people speak some English, and they make a huge effort. They really enjoy trying to speak English. So as long as you learn a few expressions in Spanish just to break the ice, you'll be fine.
Okay, so that's something that you have to understand.
What about you? What about you? You come to Spain very often to meet my students.
Yeah. I don't speak Spanish at all. Okay.
And how do you fare?
But basically, I know enough words. So when I go in the supermarket, in the restaurant, I can read. I read. It's okay, because I can read Spanish. But of course, when I have to talk and when I have to speak, it's difficult. Yeah. No, but you can get through. No problem. You can get through.
Luckily, they speak Madrid is a tourist destination, so everybody's learning some English.
Yeah. Don't worry, there will be no problem. And most of the time, you'll be at IESE anyway. But of course, when you go to the supermarket, you'll understand pretty well what is there. And plus, when you go to Spain, you're going to be surprised that some people, they don't speak Spanish, they speak Catalanese. So, for instance, when I go to the supermarket, you see, in in Barcelona, it's not even Spanish words. Okay, so it's even another language. Okay, which is, by the way, close to French. The Catalanese is quite close to French, so it's easier for a French because Catalan is. You speak some Catalan, Kevin? You understand some Catalan?
No, none at all.
Yeah, it's very. But since you speak French as well, if you speak French and Spanish, it must be very easy for you because it's a mix of the two. Sorel, another question. So Sorel, she's in a great
sorry,
shape.
one
Huh?
last
She's
question.
in a great shape. Huh? Voilà, she participated. So she has an A+, huh? Class participation. Sorel, A+. Go ahead, Sorel.
Yeah, sorry, one last question. I just wanted to know, so you guys are going for I think it's the August or September intake. Is there another intake for
No.
ICE?
There is only one intake, only September.
Okay.
INSEAD has 2 intakes, LBS has 2 intakes, IE has 2 intakes, IMD has an intake in January, but nothing. Amraj, another question, Amraj?
Yes, I have a question for Anandita and Ayush. That do we have to apply for scholarship separately, or like and what are the factors on which it depends?
Basically, the scholarship is given directly by the school. So how did it work for you, Anandita? Have you received your scholarship automatically? Did you have to apply?
Yeah. So in the application form itself, we'll get a section where they will mention like if you would like to apply for scholarship. If yes, then you have to write an essay like why do you want a scholarship? Why do you think you deserve a scholarship? And the scholarship is purely based on your profile and your candidature.
Okay. So basically, if they see that you have a good application, a good profile, they will give it to you. But of course, they give scholarships to minorities. Of course, if you come from Cameroon, you're more likely to get a scholarship. If you're a woman, you're more likely to get a scholarship. Okay, I think that a man from India, it would be difficult. Imraj, huh? It would be very difficult to get one because you're not a minority, and there are many Indian applicants. Huh? Okay, so it could work if you had, for instance, if you work, I don't know, if you have a very rare profile, if you're a physician, if you're a teacher, something like that may work. But you know, you have the background that is the most common in the applicant pool. Huh? Okay, so save, ask your family to help you, and you'll ask for land-wise or project financing. Kevin, what piece of advice, because you know the first step is the GMAT, will you give to someone who wants to apply for a top MBA?
I think to make sure they know exactly why they want to do an MBA and what their goals are afterwards.
Okay, it's important. And of course, we determine the school, etc. Ayush, famous last word. What
Yes,
do you say? So of course, I will probably come to interview you when I go to Barcelona. We'll have time to talk. But what would you say to people who want to apply, especially to Indians who want to apply for European programs?
So I would say like we start early for GMAT, I would also urge everyone to start looking at their profiles from an international exposure point of view. And in the journey, try and do some interactions with certain organizations. If you cannot fly out, I know everyone can't, I could not. But you know, you can always work with people across the globe. There are a lot of non-for-profit foundations associated with UNICEF and WHO that are looking for brilliant people as part-time players. Start working with them along this journey. This is a huge journey. You'll spend some 3 months for GMAT and another 3-4 months for your application. So you can have good 7-8 months of experience of speaking with people from various cultures, because that will really help you to boost up your profile.
Okay, you understand? Okay. And you, Sorel, you have a question before the conclusion by Anandita. Sorel, your last question. Sorel?
No, it's okay. It's okay. Thank you.
Okay. So Anandita, you have been very successful in INSEAD IESE, INSEAD plus IESE scholarship. What is the secret of a top applicant?
So I would say like understand your profile, and GMAT is obviously important, but you know the ACEs they give a lot of weightage to your application as well. So basically understand your profile and then understand your goals, what you want to go, and then map your profile to your goals. So you should have relevant experiences that should be mapped to your goals, and you should try to convince them like why you are the best fit, how will you contribute, not just how the school will contribute in making you making you accomplish your goals, but you should also be able to convince them how will you contribute back to the school.
Yeah.
So I think
exactly.
that's it.
So basically, you understand you have the hard skills, which is your work experience, your grades, your GMAT, the quality of the work experience, your leadership, your international exposure. And then you have the soft skills, okay? Your personality, your objective, your contribution to the school, the interaction, the networking that you have been able to do with the school, okay? And that will also, that should not be forgotten. Huh? Okay, so it was very nice to talk to you. We have recorded this webinar, so it will be it's edited by our editing post-production service by Ubaid. Probably by Wednesday you'll have it. And Amrita, who is our journalist anyway, writes a summary every Monday that you can find on our social media. Okay, thank you very much, Kevin. It was very nice. So when are you leaving, Kevin, to Greece? Next week? When are you leaving?
On the 1st of August.
1st of August. So yes, next week. Next week. And you will still teach there. And you will work.
I will. That's right.
That's the advantage of Zoom. Well, thank you very much for being with us. Have a good day. Bye bye.